So what I'm trying to do more than anything is fix an area of divine energies that we can all benefit from and have it all spread out and cover all of the connecting areas around the whole planet so we all don't have to get sunk into the damn sinkholes. That I really believe is the result of someone mining the earth. I believe that there is someone that is literally taking soil away from one area of the earth to somewhere else. Where, I don't know. Probably away from the earth or somewhere else on the earth. I don't really know. But I really believe, though, that someone is seriously doing some mining here, though. Let's see what's going to happen here. I never see the word about you. Falling in love wasn't my plan. I just want to show you some more connection with the fires. Because you can see it's the sunlight. The same thing, the white with the green with that orange. Just like I just showed you. And see, if you guys, after all this work I put in, still end your ass up, burned up, you're not going to be able to blame that on me. I mean, you're really not. See, this is what we don't want. No, we can't have that.
Islam came out of what I referred to as pre-God religions. I don't use that anymore because people don't understand what I mean about pre-God religions. They're so accustomed to the word God, they cannot understand that there was a time when man thought of a force in the universe presiding over the universe. And while he meant God, he did not use the word God. And man had more spirituality before he consistently used the word God. He used the God force and the God concept without using the word. He meant the same thing. And ultimately, Western man interpreted that as meaning the same thing. Spirituality is a way of accepting the fact that there is a spiritual force in the universe larger than all of mankind.
Let's go back during the time of antiquity. The word antiquity means ancient time.
Yes.
There was no religion, no place on planet Earth. You have to realize that. Going back into Africa, you will find the Africans living in the continent of Africa, not having a religion, but they had a spiritual way of life that included the ancient Egyptians also. They paid homage to their ancestors. They paid homage to nature. They knew the laws, the cosmic laws of the universe, and they lived their lives according to these various laws of the universe.
Man must be in harmony with nature. Man must not be in a violent struggle against the elements. And that man and God and nature are in partnership one to the others. And all other elements work with man, and all life is linked together in cause and effect. In a harmonious chain, there was no death, but a continuation of life. step of life is a violation of harmony. When you look at Russia and the United States, look at their struggle to control the world, it makes no sense. It is out of harmony. Not only with nature, it is out of harmony with common sense.
That's absolutely right. Stupid ass.
It is a violation of nature to poison the air, to endanger babies. Nature gave you fresh air to breathe. You throw everything out of harmony when you put poison in the air. God created the spring, God created wind to purify the air. He didn't do this for man to put chemicals and spoil the air so that the child couldn't breathe. The African thought about all of this as part of the totality of life. So this religion stemmed out of bringing life in line with the harmony of God's creation. And if we are to create a new way and a new harmony and a new decency for all people, we must bring things in harmony with nature. Because this is the basis of what this ancient African did. This is why he could have 3,000 years without war.
Now when we see something like this again, well, our ancestors were into something deep. But again, look very closely. Now that we have broken that down, you see that this person has become what is called a netter, or a spiritual one, or has become God-like. Because he rose up his pineal gland, as you see the serpent here, now his third eye is open. His spiritual eye is open. Okay? So again, we looked at nature. We used symbols. Why did we use symbols? Because symbols operated on the collective consciousness of the mind. Okay? We still have, as Brother Dr. Richard King pointed out, which he expounds on this very well from his research, that even though they have destroyed our libraries, they have not destroyed our genetic libraries that's in us. It's just lying there dormant. All we have to do is open it up.
And it's here that our ancestors had us study from the 42 books of Tahuti, representing science, law, and intelligence, who was represented as the ibis bird that you saw. We saw those little white birds that we saw come over here. So our ancestors looked at nature. We didn't worship the bird, but it was an attribute of science, attribute of intelligence. Tahuti writing down the deeds of our life on earth as we lived here. This is where the Western philosophical thought, Greeks took their concept of Hermes Trismegistus from Tahuti, now called thought too.
Again, our ancestors looked at nature to symbolize various attributes of nature. We did not worship insects. We did not worship animals. Okay? They represented various attributes of nature. For instance, the little scarab beetle was symbolized as the great mind. Why? Because the top of the little scarab beetle was identical to the top of the cranial cavity of the brain. So the little scarab was looked at as the great mind of Ptah. That was Ptah's symbol, the scarab that created the universe. Also how the scarab, okay, would roll up his dung, okay, and make the sun. That was a symbol of being self-created, because the eggs would have to feed from the dung, and that was a symbolic as being self-created. Now, when we see something like this, we say, I sure don't understand what our ancestors was doing back in those days. They put this big bug on this body. What in the world is this? What you see here, remember I said, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and the earth was without form and void, and the Spirit of God moved across the deep. Okay? So we see nothing but darkness. The scarab symbolized Ptah, black. The red body symbolized the sun that was created. Our ancestors saw ourselves in relationship with that of nature. We were totally connected with nature. We did not worship animals and insects. There were various attributes because we looked at nature for our communication. Okay? That's why we were not destructive towards nature. So what we see is mind over body. And that's how we see the little scarab creating the sun, because it's red like you see the body here as being red. The body was looked at as the great sun. That's why you call your sun the sun today. Symbolized as that sun. Okay? So here we see the little scarab Rolling up the dung was symbolic as how Patel rolled up the sun in the universe and created the light. This was all symbolic and all various attributes.
We need to look back and study our origins and where we came from. Try now to imagine Earth in prehistoric times, a place filled with a multitude of dangers, giant animals and reptiles, huge predators, earthquakes, volcanoes, tornadoes, and meteors, and the subsequent fear and hostility such an unfriendly environment would breed. If you could be a time traveler and be spirited back to these ancient times, complete with all the sophisticated modern knowledge you now have, admit it, you'd be scared to death. I know I would be. Now try to imagine what it must have been like for these ancient people, totally devoid of all the knowledge we now take for granted about the awesome forces of nature. A volcano erupts, destroying everything in its path. The sky reverberates with thunder as a violent electrical storm hurls thunderbolts to earth, which start fires. Tornadoes sweep people, animals, and trees away into the sky. The earth opens up and an earthquake swallows a village in the twinkling of an eye. Gazing up into those fearsome skies filled with infinite numbers of stars, not to mention shooting stars, without having the remotest idea of what they were, lacking any form of scientific explanation. Is it any wonder that these ancient peoples created a myriad of all-powerful nature gods and the countless myths that surrounded them? The gods which have been worshipped and sacrificed to for scientific explanation. Is it any wonder that these ancient peoples create...
Listen what he said. Isn't any wonder that these ancient people... Now I want you to just watch this. I don't want to see... Just watch this. He said these ancient people. But watch this now, okay?
...did a myriad of all...
First one they bring you when they say these ancient people is the barbarians. The latest arrivals on the earth who murdered their God. Okay, who even murdered their supposed to be God. They the first one that he bring you as the ancient people when they are the newest people on the earth. But then watch what's next.
Powerful nature gods.
I can't believe it. See, this is what I'm trying to tell you guys about. They have stolen everything from us as a black people, as a melanated people, as the people that the sun put here. See, the first two things they threw up there was there. You know what I'm getting at is this. We know for a fact that these people do not have the skin that would be synonymous with people that's worshiping the sun. And if they were the true sun worshipers, that gives them the proper right to be having this right here. When they know they stole this from us African people, us melanated people who they all came from, and screwed up the world by murdering us. And now they don't know how to run anything. But they will devilishly try to make themselves fit into our seat of our history by making this right here, which is proof of them plagiarizing our history. They never to this day show any fascination with the sun that would indicate them ever having a moment in their life where they will be making sun discs. And look at the body. Do you see the hypocrisy of it? Let's go.
And the countless myths that surrounded them.
And then now they want to go, after they gave you those two white people, they're going to go get some African stuff, because I know this is authentic because there's the spiral curve. See? What I just called a spiral. Morris Donaldson called it the feminine spiral curve. But you can see it in there. And these spirals are the indication of light permeation. That's what they mean.
The gods which have been worshipped and sacrificed to for thousands of